Live from the heart of the Blue Ridge, Roanoke, Virginia. It's the Just Bernard Show with host Bernard Alvarez. Join Bernard as he shares topics that reveal the real matrix and empower your human experience, including world liberty, the esoteric, suppressed technologies, spiritual ascension, and human consciousness. Humanity has awakened, and our time has come to realize our full potential. And now, live from the Star City, your host, Bernard Alvarez.
Well, hello everybody. How are you doing today? As you can see, I have no fancy green screen background today, and there's a reason for that. We are going to have a nice casual chat talk. Today we're doing, as well, for lack of a better term, we're calling it open lines, open chat. This is your chance to ask me any questions that you've had on your mind, whether it be about magic, whether it be about meditation, consciousness, whether it be what products do I use in my hair? I don't care. It's a casual day, and I also wanted to, I have to acknowledge, you can see behind me, there's Sophia Kitty, who turns 10 years old today. I can't believe it. She turns 10 on 7/7, which means it'll be almost 10 years that I've lived here in Roanoke. I moved here on, July 30th, I moved here. Of 2010, and it's 2020 already. I can't believe it. Time flies. Also coming up, speaking of anniversaries and whatnot, I believe it's the 14th anniversary of my YouTube channel is coming up. I want to say it's next week. I have to look at the exact date. It's around July 14th or something like that. But as I said, casual day today. I don't get to do this very much. I always have like a class ready for you, or I'm too busy, so I do an archive, or I have a guest. So we haven't done this in quite a long time, just a casual hangout and chat. Give me just 1 second here. I want to find the chat rooms. Where did I put it? Where's the chat? There's the chat. Let's see if I can pull that up. And it says it's connecting to data. All right, well, connect to the data. Anyway, back to why it's so special for me is because this is the first time that we're using this new platform where I'm streaming live now on Facebook. As of now, we are streaming live on Facebook, on my website, on my YouTube channel, on my Twitch channel, on my Twitter feed, and on Instagram. So we are all over the internet today thanks to this new software that I've been able to start using. But so yeah, this is going to be kind of cool because I get to see the chats from everybody. So let me see if I can say hello to y'all here. Oh, actually somebody's already saying hello. Hello, Moni, from, I hope I said that right, from my YouTube channel. And I'm just going to type hello. But as I said, I did. Now, this is also an opportunity, I have to say, for me to answer a lot of the questions I get from your fan mail and emails and messages on Facebook and YouTube and through my email. And what I did today was I went through some of the ones that really stuck out to me, and I've only got about 3 or 4 of them that I pulled off to the side. The rest, I'm hoping the rest of the questions will come from you. So this is your opportunity to interview me. So I'm going to go ahead and start this little ticker so you know that you can. If you want to, go ahead and start putting your questions in the chat. I believe there's about a 30-second delay from the broadcasting software to what you're seeing live. So it might take me a few minutes to either respond to you or to actually even see your question. But with that being said, I do want to take this opportunity as well to check on you. How are you doing? Things are getting a little weird again. The numbers seem to be going up in this with this global situation we have going on, and unfortunately, a lot of businesses are starting to close again. And so, I just want to check in on you, see how you're doing. Please, by all means, feel free to let me know how are you handling all of this. What are you doing to stay mentally healthy, spiritually healthy, physically healthy? My friend who I usually go to the gym with, she's decided that the numbers are going up a little bit too high. So we've taken to mall walking now, which is fine because it's air conditioned. I don't mind. But I do want to keep my physical activity going. So it's important to keep our body healthy in order to keep our mind and our spirit healthy as well. And actually, I'm going to talk a little bit about that with one of the questions that I received from somebody. I believe it was from my YouTube channel, but we'll get into that in just a second. I did want to, as I'm on the topic of the global situation that's going on and these businesses beginning to close again, I'm really sad that these businesses are starting to close again. I know a lot of people were looking forward to getting back to work, getting their income back to normal, and myself included, which is why I was beginning to charge my full amount for my courses and classes and things like that. And so anyway, with that being said, due to the spike and a lot of the businesses closing again, I did decide to keep the spiritual retreat that we're doing on August 1st. I am going to keep it at a reduced rate. It was going to be $99. We're going to keep it down to $49. So it's basically half price. It's a 6-hour all day spiritual retreat. I'll go into more detail about it in a little bit, but let's just say when we are done, you're going to feel like mush, and not only going to feel like mush and relax, you're going to feel rejuvenated. And I hope that the outcome of that is that you will have a deeper connection with your own spirit. And I'll go into more detail of that in a little bit. Anyway, go ahead and start typing your questions. I'm going to go ahead and read one of the questions that have already come in. All right, so this one actually showed up on one of probably my most popular video, or yeah, I guess it is, on soul retrieval. Someone had asked, they think, I'm not going to say names, maybe I'll say the first name. I think that I've experienced soul loss, defragmentation, losing free will and healthy thoughts and feelings. It started off with stress, trauma, and irrational fear. Now I'm in despair, and I don't understand what that means. I think this probably is translated from a different language. I am depressed. I'm in doubt. I'm in delusion. I think that I must do something. I must see something, do something, learn something. I feel great resistance about almost everything that I love, and I also feel great fear. Fear erases my good thoughts and my knowledge. I'm guessing that, speculating that they mean their inner wisdom. So this is a question on soul retrieval in reference to the soul splitting. So I've talked about this in several videos, and but I'm happy to repeat myself because I don't think a lot of people understand what that soul fragmentation means. I always like to use the analogy from the movie The Dark Crystal. So if you've heard this one before, bear with me. I like to use the analogy of The Dark Crystal. If you've ever seen the original movie, not the new Netflix series, even though it's the same characters and the same storyline, but the movie, where there's like this central crystal and a shard of it breaks off, and it's up to the Gelfling to retrieve that shard of the crystal and restore the main crystal, which I guess like is the source of all goodness in the world and whatnot. That's how I see soul fragmentation and the need for soul retrieval. To me, any type of trauma, and it could be, yeah, people handle trauma differently. What's traumatic to me may not be traumatic to you. For many of us, the first trauma is coming through the birth canal and entering into this plane of consciousness on this crazy planet. And that could be very traumatic. So immediately our life starts with trauma, but we're conditioned that that's just a part of the journey, and many of us don't really remember that. So um, but trauma could be your first day of kindergarten. Trauma could be your parents getting divorced. Trauma could be a car accident you were in. Trauma could be going to war and having to do the things that you must do as a soldier. So there are different varying degrees of trauma. However, any trauma, any time, this is my own personal experience and my own personal opinion on the matter, but anytime that we experience any type of trauma, anything that shakes us to the core, let's put it like that, anything that shakes us to the core, to where we question our reality, to where we question who we are, that has the ability for you to lose a piece of yourself. And I'm using the air quotes because I mean that as your soul splitting into some way. A piece of you um, can take off. A piece of your soul can, go running for the hills, for lack of a better term. So that is what soul fragmentation means to me, in my opinion on it. That's why we do soul retrieval and past life regression and a lot of this healing work that I talk about all the time. So, in reference to the question, the first name is Zorica, and the question, in reference to the question, they're describing the symptoms. So I don't know necessarily if this is a question, but this is something that caught my eye and I wanted to touch on. Yes, talk therapy helps. I'm all for talk therapy. I'm all for seeing if there's any, and actually I'll get into that later. There's another question dealing with medical imbalance, medical, not psychiatric. I'm still a little wary of the psychiatric industry, but as far as medical, there is such thing as chemical imbalances and things like that. Or um, for me, I found that, I guess I am going to get into it now. For me, I found that the gut has a lot to do with our mind, our mental health. When our gut, it is my opinion, I'm not a doctor, but I can just say through my experience that when I was having a lot of anxiety, when I started healing my gut, and I did that by just eating fruits and vegetables and taking fiber capsules and supplements and vitamins and things like that, my anxiety level went way down. And it's very interesting how now I saw an article maybe a few months ago where the medical field is starting to see a correlation with gut health and your mental health. So it's very interesting. But back to this, to Zorica's letter to me, or message to me. Yes, you've definitely described soul fragmentation, and I highly do recommend taking action. Now, what that action is, that's up to you. I do not believe that there's a magical cure. I don't believe that I can do one soul restoration and you're going to be healed. I believe the soul restoration work that I do is a starting point. The work has to be done by you. We need to take responsibility for our own treatment, and that includes even with a doctor. If you don't go to your doctor appointments, you're not being responsible. If you've chosen to do something about it, you have to do something about it. So if I do a soul retrieval, I am going to give you tools, and I will ask anyone who's had an appointment with me. I usually will give you an assignment. This is what I want you to do during this week. And I'll always ask you when you have your follow-up appointment with me, did you complete what I've asked you to do? And unfortunately, about 50% of the people say, no, I've been worried about something else now. But that's okay. That's okay. I'm happy to help any way that I can. So yeah, Zorka, I would definitely recommend doing something about it, and but following up and knowing that it's up to you. Ah, there's a great question. Well, yeah, there is a question here. Thank you. There's a lot of questions. Whoa, let me scroll back up to the top. So, hi everybody. Let me just say some quick hellos. I'm seeing Daryl from Maryland. Hi, hi Cindy. Hi. Oh, hi Gary. Haven't seen you in a while. Onyx, Honey Witch. Love the name. So, um, Onyx is asking during the soul retrieval session, they felt something being pulled out of their side. It could only describe it as having surgery. Is this normal? Yeah, yes, it is. For many people, it is normal. I attribute that to the opposite of soul fragmentation and soul restoration. I attribute that to what I consider energetic Klingons or spiritual parasites, especially if you do the one on my YouTube channel or on my Facebook page or on my website, the one that I have out there publicly, the pre recorded version, we do talk about cutting um, oaths or promises that we made with entities that were not necessarily for our highest good, including ourselves, any agreements that we may have had, whether it be in our past life or our present life. And sometimes you'll feel something leaving you because that is the attachment. I call that a spiritual attachment that you're releasing. Uh, a, a point on that, and I've shared this before, so again, forgive me. I do repeat myself, but I've done 500 videos, so probably more. So I'm probably going to repeat myself in a couple of them. Um, in my 20s, I had what I would consider a psychic Klingon or a spiritual parasite, and I too felt the same thing. When I was finally ready to let it go, I didn't necessarily do soul restoration. I was doing a self healing ritual, and during that time, it literally felt like something was being pulled out of me, like there was, yeah, like surgery, like someone was cutting a cyst out of my body, not physical body, but that's what the sensation felt like. But so yeah, that is normal. So I have on my YouTube channel, Moni's asking, are we planning on doing any more live stream spells for healing and protection? You missed it. It'd be cool to unite, yes, collective energies toward healing our anxieties. Well, thank you. I think that's a really good idea. And yeah, I will be doing more. It's just a matter of remembering to do it and scheduling it and putting it on my schedule. I think we did uh, two of them in the last month or so, not even counting the Litha Sabbath. But we will. I promise we will do more, especially as the numbers begin to go up and more businesses are starting to close again. I know we need to do more of that. So I do have. Why don't I write that down now? Thank you. Now you just scheduled it. I do have guests coming up next week and the week after. So let's see. That would be on the perhaps maybe on the 28th. Let me put that down. July 28th, healing live stream. I always have a pen and paper handy when I do these live ones, so I like to take notes myself. So yeah, we need to be doing that. Let me go back and oh boy, this is going by so quickly. Darn. All right, I'll probably stay on a little bit longer than I expected. That's fine. Um, yes, Gary, I miss talking to you. It'd be great. Um, Deborah's asking, does it take Deborah on Facebook is asking, does it take a long time to restore your power energy? I had a lady ask if my grandfather was the doctor. He was known for healing. My camera's in the way, that's why I'm moving around. And I said yes. She grabbed my hands and tightly would not let go. Now I have no warmth power like I used to. And how do I attain my power back? That's giving me almost the chills. I'm having my own flashback. I had a very similar situation. Does it take a long time to restore your power and energy? Um, I believe that there are rituals, and I do believe that there are healing modalities that can help you with that. I certainly believe Reiki is one of those when it's done by a great practitioner or a proficient practitioner. I do believe that meditation, when done correctly, or certain types of meditation, when done correctly, will help you restore your energy. But going back into, um, I was talking about like food and health and stuff like that. It's also important uh, to look at our diets, and not only our physical diet, but our emotional diet. What are we putting into our brain? I talk about this all the time. Boy, I talk about talking about it all the time, a lot, don't I? But what are you putting into your brain? Are you feeding your brain healthy stuff? Are you feeding your ears healthy stuff? Are you feeding your eyes healthy stuff? Are you feeding your nose, your olfactory senses healthy stuff? So that will add to restoring our energy. For me, power and energy, I call it chi, universal life force energy, prana. Um, but yeah, that can be restored through diet, meditation, healing modalities. And the reason why I was saying earlier that I had a similar situation, and I might have shared this. There I go again. I'm not going to say that anymore. When I was a little kid, one of the most the earliest memory I have of a paranormal experience was exactly that, but mine was a being. I'll share this real quickly because you made me think of it, and I think it's a great story. I remember coming home from school, and I was probably in kindergarten or first grade. I was a small child, and coming home from school, and you have your routine when you come home from school. And I remember telling my mom I wanted spaghettios. My mother always made me a little snack or something, and I loved to go in my parents' room and watch the game shows in the afternoon on their TV in their bedroom. I loved their big giant king size bed, and they had a walk-in closet, which nobody in the house had a walk-in closet, and I used to play in the walk-in closet. But anyway, so I'm screaming to my mom, I want my spaghettios or whatever, and I heard a noise in her walk-in closet, and the door slid open by itself. And I walked into the closet, and I saw like a shuffling in the corner of the back of the closet. And as I moved inward, this veiled, hooded being, probably not much taller than I was, which back then I was probably like, 2.5 feet, 3 feet tall. So maybe this being, and it was a she looked like an old crone. Someone had said to me, one of my teachers, my early teachers, Reverend Rel Davis, who was a very well known pagan teacher back in South Florida, he did a session with me. He said that was a version of Baba Yaga, and after I looked it up, I'm like, oh my god, that's what it looked like. Anyway, this thing grabbed my hands and started putting them in her mouth and was like eating them and sucking them out of me. And I've had two, beside Rel Davis, I had another one of my mentors do a reading on it or a session on. They both said the same exact thing, that it was trying to suck the magic, the power out of my hands. So I can relate to what you said there. And unfortunately, I didn't know what it was as a kid. I just thought I was, being haunted, and it wasn't the only time. That was the first time I saw that being. She visited a couple more times, but that's a whole nother show. um, so I hope that answers your question, Deborah. Saturn is asking, I had a dark spirit latched on to for so long, even came across it in lucid. Oh, okay. So you're just stating a fact. Yeah, they stick around. They stick around, especially the strange thing about this idea of losing energy or losing soul or having these spiritual parasites attached to us is any time that we give in to fear and we keep feeding that fear, and unfortunately that does lead to an anxiety disorder. So every time we have an anxiety disorder or a panic attack. I used to have panic attacks as a teenager. We're giving that our energy. And I know we can't control it once it's gotten to the point of anxiety and a panic attack. But if you're not at that place yet where you're having a full on anxiety or a panic attack, it's important to learn techniques to reel in that fear. Fear is a part of life. There's nothing wrong with fear. I forgot that movie that talks about, fear teaches us. It was that Will Smith movie. It teaches us to run when we're being attacked by a lion, or something like that. Fear is not a bad thing, and it saves our life sometimes. But when it's in our mind, we need to be able to say, okay, I'm feeling fear, stand up and shake it off. I do as you all know, beside the work I do on Facebook and on my website and YouTube channel and doing my private sessions with you guys, and the courses that I teach, and the Gray School. Actually, Gray School is one of them. That I work for several nonprofits. I work for Gray School. I work for the Roanoke Diversity Center, and two more that I'm not going to mention because they probably don't want me to mention them on this type of platform. But one of them, one of the things that I work with is dealing with social media integrity, and so I do a lot of research in the sense of I'm a social media consultant for several people and organizations. And I find that when I'm doing it and I'm researching some of this stuff, I find myself getting that anxiety, especially when it deals with like really hardcore political stuff. And I have learned that this is back to that anxiety fear thing, that when I start clenching, like, I can feel my chest starting to clench, I can feel my muscles tightening, I can feel me starting to get angry. I'll do it. I just stand up and shake it. I'll spin around, spin my body around a couple times and just shake it off. I had a client, actually a new client, a session with a new client a couple days ago, and I offered to them the idea of something I used to do, was the rubber band on the wrist. And I know that's a cliche, but it works. So yeah, back to that energy thing of these Klingons, these parasites sucking. We feed them with our fear. The same thing goes with let's say you got out of a bad relationship, or you can't shake that bad relationship. Somebody said to me, a client said, oh, well, I can't stop thinking about him. I know he's awful for me. He's terrible. I'm like, but if you're thinking about him, you're giving him your energy. He's draining you of your energy. That's what we call a spiritual umbilical cord. When those of us who study astral projection, we always talk about that silver cord that's connected to our body. But every time you think of someone, if our words are our wand and our thoughts create our reality, if we are truly these magnificent energetic beings and every thought creates a ripple, same thing goes for the negative stuff. You're creating an energetic connection to that awful ex or that awful family member or that awful boss. Every time you think of them, aren't you exhausted when you think about them? Aren't you? For me, I'm exhausted when I think about certain politicians. That's another reason why I stand up and shake it off. I don't want that energetic connection. And it is through that exhaustion that these spiritual parasites kind of like, make their way and burrow their way in like a tick into our etheric and spiritual bodies. So kind of be aware of these energetic connections and channels that we create with the world around us. And it goes back full circle to what I was saying earlier about be vigilant as to what you put in your eyes, your ears, your nose. What are you looking at? What are you listening to? What do you see every day? Anyway, so let's let's go back and scan some of these questions. That the chat's going off the chart. I can't keep up. It's nice to talk to everybody. Um, yeah, hi Chastity. Yes, you're in Roanoke. Wonderful. Yes, I do sessions. You can go to bernardalvarez.com/bookings. I do spiritual counseling, tarot, Reiki. Um, Through the website, it's less expensive. If they're face to face, I do charge a little bit more. But you can find out more at bernardalvarez.com under booking. Um, so Saturn is saying, oh, okay. Well, that's a good idea. Saturn is saying they need a light worker medium to do a reading on them. They're curious of what their gifts might be. I'm moving around because of the camera. If I have any of all, I believe we all do have gifts. First of all, we are channels of energy. Period. We are channels of Reiki energy, Chi energy, Prana energy. I believe we have the ability to heal. I believe that we are all intuitive. I believe we are all psychic. I believe we all have the ability to do manifestation work, magic, whatever you want to call it, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it. It's just a matter of the right training. Yeah, some of us were born into it. Some of us had the gifts early. I myself had the gifts very early and then lost them and had to relearn them in my 20s. Um, but we all have it. We all have it. Now, if you're talking about your life's calling, that's another story, or how to apply that. That happens to be one of the main uh, types of sessions that I offer, or the main questions a lot of my clients ask me. It's like, well, I have these gifts. How do I apply it in my, how do I make a living off of it, et cetera, et cetera? And it's not easy to make a living off of it. I can tell you that right now. However, it's just a matter of being happy. And once you do have the gifts, once you know the tools and you apply them to your own life, prosperity doesn't mean being rich. Prosperity means having what you need and not being without. So I always, when people say, "Oh, but I want to make more money. I want to make more money." Well, how much money are you making? And they'll say, "Oh, I make $60,000 a year." And I'm like, that's more than enough to have what you need. So it's where are your priorities? What is it that, if we have these spiritual, don't get me wrong, everybody deserves to live in a mansion. I don't have a problem with beautiful, gorgeous things and beautiful clothes and beautiful cars. I mean, there's nothing wrong with luxury, but if that's the goal, you'll never be happy. Is what I'm saying. That should be a uh, like the icing on the cake of any career. Yeah, it's great that you know that you have a Rolls Royce. That's great, but that shouldn't be the goal. Um, wow, thank you guys. You guys are sharing a lot of your own experiences on the chat. Some people are talking about the anxiety. Some people are talking about sleep paralysis. Um, so good, good. I'm glad that we're having this platform and this opportunity to share with each other. And by all means, share and support each other. I think that's really important. I miss that about the Global Illumination Council for you old timers that have been following me for a while. Oh, I can say this, a little plug. I do have Bernard Social. It's not totally done yet. It's kind of like in pre-beta. But if you want to, you can sign up for it. There's forums there. You can start talking with each other. They're free. It's a free account. Um, if you go to my website and you click on, now I got to click on it myself. So, it says there social, duh. If you click on social, you just need to create an account, and they're free accounts. And that's the whole idea. Is I wanted to offer a platform on my website where we can have these conversations and keep them going. I've seen people help each other out with, their own personal issues. I've seen people offer each other Reiki on there, And it's just very important that we keep supporting each other as a spiritual community, as a global community. So by all means, feel free to do that. I'll be promoting it more once it's all done. I've just been promoting it here and there and whatnot. So this is a part about the health I wanted to get into. I am going to stay on probably maybe an hour. We'll see. This is very interesting, and some of you might be able to relate to this. This person didn't leave their name, but they wrote me this. I just came out of a meditative state, and I saw that my biological mother has been doing rituals, black magic, maybe voodoo, and invocations. She gave me a book of angels, dark angels included. I saw that she had invoked a few of them. I have suffered, and so has my daughter. How do I fix this for her, my daughter, and grandson, son-in-law? I was abandoned shortly after birth. However, she abused me in every way possible. I'm so sorry about that. She's delusional and very ill. I have spent thousands trying to heal myself and saw in a meditative state blood magic used against me. So here's the thing with blood magic and curses and whatnot. And I'm not going to simplify it in the way that I just said in the reference to, if you're thinking about it, you're making that connection. That's the first step. But when we're talking about blood magic and when we're talking about people utilizing, let's say, the Key of Solomon or the Goetia to invoke these quote unquote angelic beings, those who do not know what they're doing may be opening interdimensional portals or spiritual portals. So there is a possibility that's what happened with this person. I don't know if it's a man or a woman. I guess it's a man. A lot of times when people get too involved in the deeper aspects of magic, witchcraft, the occult, without proper, I don't want to say without proper guidance or proper training, but moving ahead before they understand exactly what they're doing, there is something called psychic whiplash. There is something called getting in too deep before you know what you're doing. So if she has done this type of work, there's a possibility that something was open that should not have been. As far as the blood magic and the curses, I firmly believe that the shamanic soul retreat, even that simple video that I have on YouTube, would help with that. I do believe that. If that doesn't work for you, I can add my energy. You can book a private session with me. I'll add my energy to that part, even though my energy is on the video. But sometimes the IRL, in real life aspect of it, does add more energy to it. But we also have to take into consideration any type of past life karma going on here. And I say that myself because I'm relating to it, to my story personally. I myself, my mother died giving birth. My father died before my mother died giving birth in a car accident. And it wasn't even until maybe about a year or so ago I found out I knew I was Native American, but it was because of a DNA test I found out that I'm a Florida Seminole. I didn't even know that exactly. My mother had told me I was Apache or something. She didn't even know, my adopted mother. Anyway, the reason why I'm bringing this up is that as someone who doesn't know my family's history, I don't know how much of that ancestral karma is being thrust upon me in my own life, or was thrust upon me. I feel a lot of that icky karma has been burned off now, but to look into. So if you are watching, and I wish birth mother, blood magic, curses, or whatnot, you do need to speak to someone. I don't know if it's necessarily a tarot person, maybe an intuitive, maybe a medium might be good, or a very well experienced ceremonial magician, who actually, in my experience, my ceremonial magical mentor was probably one of the best readers I ever had. And he just was intuitive. He just closed his eyes and he saw it all. It was pretty amazing. I mean, I can do that now too, but I'm just saying out of my experience. um, predictions. I don't like predictions. Predictions about the global situation. Is it going to be over anytime soon? You know, I don't like to do predictions, but I will say this: I believe in cycles, and I also believe there's a reason for everything. So, is it going to be over soon? Anytime soon would, for me, that would mean by the end of the year. And no, I don't. I don't think it'll be over by then. And I believe the effects of what we're all going through is going to last for quite a while. With that being said, there's a lot of positive effects coming from it, and that's what I like to focus on. No, that's I take that back. That's what I choose to focus on. It's so funny. I see so much rhetoric going on, especially in the United States with the political parties and bickering and blaming and this and that, and just have common sense, people. Just have common sense. Uh, can you help keep yourself healthy by doing certain things? Have common sense. Am I going to walk into a party with 5,000 people with no mask breathing on me? No, I'm not. That's common sense. Just have common sense. But I will say that as far as humanity is concerned, um, I feel that we've been waiting for something like this, and I don't mean that like we've been waiting for humanity to be disciplined or punished. That's not what I mean at all. I believe humanity's been waiting for a chance to get out of its way. I believe that humanity's been, I don't want to say waiting, but has given humanity the opportunity to rethink our lives individually, our lives as a region, as a country, as a society. What role does technology have to play into it? There's a lot of positive and negative going on with that right now. What role does medicine have to play with it? A lot of positive and negative going on with that right now. And what role does the current state of the type of economy that we have to do with it? A lot of positive and negative going on right now. So this has given us the opportunity to question. And if anything, you know what they say in recovery, acknowledging you have a problem and questioning is the first step. So when we can acknowledge and say, you know what, the healthcare is not working, the uh, economic system isn't working, the political system isn't working, the medical system isn't working, and we're seeing that, I believe it gives us the opportunity to create something better. So as far as like getting back to normal, I don't think there's ever going to be back to normal. I don't. I hope not. I do. I hope it's not back to normal. I hope it's better than what we have. I hope it's better, and I do believe it will be. That I can predict. That I can predict. I believe it's going to be better, and I'm starting to see some of that. Yeah, yeah. They talk about the waves, so probably 2 to 3 years before it's in the rearview mirror is probably fair. Probably fair to say. But again, cycles, cycles, cycles. The earth has cycles. Society has cycles. Humanity has cycles. Consciousness has cycles, and this is very cyclical of our own growth and our own experiences. So I'm going to get to this last one because I think actually there's two more, but maybe I can get into both of them. Someone just wrote me recently that a shaman had given her again. I don't have the name here, but I do know it was a woman. A shaman gave me a message on Facebook. You might be watching because it was from YouTube. He wrote me a long message, and it's true. He said the ancestors sent it to me, and it's weird. Do you think that this is true? What he said, like, did the ancestors send it to me? I wouldn't be able to answer that. I don't know who sent it to you. So if you would have said their name, I could tell you if I trusted them as a shaman, if they were a real shaman at all, or just a shamanic practitioner. I'm very, especially as a Native American, I'm very particular of who calls themselves a shaman. I'm Native American and I practice shamanic techniques, but I would never call myself a shaman because the, I'm not a shaman within a particular tribe. I did not go through the ritual, the initiation, and I am not revered as a shaman in any particular tribe. So that word is a hot button for me. Now, I don't know who it is. Maybe it is a real shaman of a tribe. I don't know. There's a lot of. I am. You'll notice that I post a lot of stuff of calling out hoaxes and fakes and stuff like that because I believe that I believe that spiritual people who are fake and phony need to be called out because they make us look bad. I believe that these conspiracy theorists that are making no sense and making stuff up, literally making stuff up with no proof whatsoever, make us look bad. Uh, I believe that this spiritual awakening that is happening on the planet is important that we have the right tools and the right leadership and those with integrity. Is there anything wrong with activism? Absolutely not. There needs to be integrity. Is there anything about wrong with conspiracy theory and bringing out, things that are hidden from the public? Absolutely not. But there must be integrity. Is there anything wrong with witchcraft and psychics and UFOs and ETs? No. But there must be integrity. So that's a really hot button for me. So I would never say if he was telling you the truth or not. I can say, this is to the person asking, did the ancestors send her a message through this shaman that wrote her on Facebook? It's possible. I do believe your ancestors want to communicate with you. And let's be clear, when we say the ancestors, that term is a Native American term, and it usually means the ancestors of that tribe, within your tribe, the ancestors. Like Dia de los Muertos is a good example of ancestor worship and whatnot. It's of the family. So the ancestors is either of the tribe or of the family. Your ancestors could easily want to communicate with you. So, yes, to answer your question, it is possible. I see a conversation going on here, and I don't want to jump in near the end, but oh, yes, Cindy, bot messages. Oh, yeah. And you know what? I get them on my YouTube comments and I get them on my Facebook comments, and I have to ban them and block them. How they brought their ex-wife back to them, or they, got them a job, or they make $100,000, or join the Illuminati. That's another one. You can be a millionaire tomorrow and have a yacht. Join the Illuminati. Those are bot ones also. But so yeah, let's be very realistic when it comes to the work that I do, especially I'm a ceremonial magician. I am an intuitive. I'm a healer. These things are they're not graspable in a physical way or in a scientific way. They're very metaphysical. They're very metaphysical. So it's important for me that I approach it with dignity and with integrity, and I would not do something I cannot prove. As a matter of fact, there was a couple decades back. Uh, you all remember the Amazing Randy? He was like the debunker of everything. He tried to debunk psychics all the time. Well, one of his interns, I was friendly with. I was friendly with one of the interns, and they were like, well, I can't believe you're still doing this and blah, blah, blah. It was like, I think I had just gotten my 5th degree in ceremonial magic or something like that. Or no, in the group I was in, which was the highest level, 5th degree, It's all the elements. I made it to the spirit degree. Anyway, um, I can't believe what you believe. I'm like, I don't believe everything. I only believe what I can practice, and I know that I can do this, and I know that and it's like, oh well, what about one of the things I used to do? And yeah, as a younger witch, I used to show off a little bit. I mean, I was a kid. Well, to me, anything under 40 is a kid now that I'm 50. But in my 20s, I would play with flames, and I'd be able to make the flames, stand up and get taller, or or just use my mind to make them stream higher. And I just thought it was the coolest thing. And this guy wanted the amazing Randy to test me behind. Check this out, behind 6-inch bulletproof glass in another room. I was like, that's like doomed to fail. That just the concept of your experiment is embarrassing to you because that's not going to work. Of course, you're going to debunk it anyway. So I do believe in having integrity and doing only what we can do, and it's okay to say you don't know how to do something. I don't think I can do that flame thing anymore, quite honestly. But it was a trick I picked up in my teens, and I did it through my 20s. Um, can a computer be a shaman? I'm hoping you're kidding. I'm guessing you're being sarcastic. But there is something called cyber shamanism, which I found very interesting. I don't even think that category exists anymore. There used to be a category in the 80s and 90s called cyber shamanism, which actually had to do more with the study of the left and right brain hemispheres, which I don't know why they came up with that term. All right, so if you guys don't have any more, I'm going to read this last one. Oh, wait, I might have missed something. Oh, I must have missed the first part of that. I'm sorry. Someone's talking about twin flames, and I can't find it up. The first part of it. Twin flames. Okay, real quick. I'll jump into twin flames real quick because that's another one that I feel people get manipulated by. Um, Twin flame. A lot of people. This is my opinion. My opinion. A lot of people believe the twin flame is they're my destiny. They're my we were meant to be together. Et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And for me, twin flame just means that they it's probably even more deep, but it goes beyond the polarity of a relationship. Twin flame you would think would complement each other, but think of the terminology. Twin flame means they're the same thing as you. Sometimes I feel that the twin flame is the same concept as what the Buddhists believe, where one soul can reincarnate in several different bodies. If you ever saw the movie Little Buddha, was a great example of that, where they were looking for this particular lama, and they found these 3 or 4 kids from around the world because they had aspects of this elder lama's soul. For me, twin flame means exactly that. Um, Now that being said, your destiny, your destined partner, my partner of 10 years, who I will always love for the rest of my life, was my former husband. We had a past life connection, which was not healthy, and we're talking 1,000, 2,000 year old past life connection. And what I got out of it, out of once the relationship ended and we went on our separate ways, and we kind of were like, okay, we're done. Don't get me wrong, it wasn't easy and we fought a little bit, but it was like, yeah, we're done. And that's exactly what it was. It's like, okay, the karma that was created from that past life connection completed itself. It's like the story had to finish. So if you have a partner that lasts you your lifetime, that's fantastic. Uh, but to I think it's important for us to remember that we are independent beings. And I don't mean that in a psychological way, that we are sovereign beings, sovereign spiritual beings. And too easily, especially those of us who are empaths and those of us that are seeking happiness outside of ourselves, we have a tendency to develop codependent relationship um, habits. Yes, I use a psychological term, but when you are looking outside of yourself for your happiness and depend on someone outside to complete you, that's some kind of unhealthy. That's unhealthy. That's unhealthy. We can't grow that way. We want them to complement you. We want them to add to your wholeness. We want them to add to your spiritual experience. They should be someone who brings out the best in you, who brings out your love, your passion, who supports you. Nobody's perfect. You're gonna fight. That's life. You know, life goes like this. Nothing's ever a straight line. But the essence of it is to learn not to be able to exist in love with yourself as well as in love with the other person. So be wary of people that try to sell you that twin flame. I see a lot of these shamanic bots saying the same thing. We'll find your twin flame for you. The only thing I can do as a reader or an intuitive or a channel even is to share with you that I can sense if it's a healthy connection, but that's it. No good psychic is going to tell you, "Oh, they're your life partner for the rest of your life." Or no, I can sense this is going well. Things keep going the way they are. You know, this is you should be with this person right now. I don't know if it'll end. I don't know when it'll end, but remember, we have to love ourselves first. We have to love ourselves first. So don't fall for a lot of these gimmicky things. You know, love, money. What is it? The three main things that they ask witches or psychics. I want love, I want money, or I want health. It's always love, money, or health. And a lot of that has to do with us. And a lot of that has to do with us. Anyway, I'm running way over time. So I'm going to start wrapping it up. Let me share with you a little bit about next week. This is going to be very interesting. We've touched on a lot of paranormal stuff here today. Next week, I'm having Dr. Mark Pitstick, and he is working with a team of scientists. Very interesting research going on. They're developing something called Soul Phone. Have you all heard about this? I didn't know about it until about a month or so ago. But it's some type of research where you can literally connect with. It's like a medium phone, like calling the spirit world. It's amazing. If it really works, it's really amazing. But I don't know if they've completed the research, but he's going to come on and he's going to talk to us about the research they are doing and what Soul Phone is all about. They have something now. They're moving on to Soul Video. And of course, it deals with a lot of like the paranormal tools and stuff like EMF and stuff like that. But very interested to know what a soul phone is and how we can connect with our departed loved ones. Call them. Should be interesting. And just to remind you, August 1st, I am going to keep it down. I haven't decided what the cap off point is yet, whether I'm going to keep it to 10 people or 20 people. I like to keep these groups small. But the Awakening Code, my all day spiritual retreat, is on August 1st. I believe we've already sold 5, so maybe I have 5 more. We'll see. It was going to be $99. I made it down to $49 because of this whole situation. I know a lot of people are out of work again, unfortunately, and I thought it would be fair. And I know we all need a day to self-care and to take care of our own inner being. Again, it'll be a 6-hour spiritual retreat online via
Someone's
Zoom.
at your door.
It'll be someone's at my door. My ring is working, obviously, but they'll have to wait. Go to my website, bernardalvarez.com. You'll see the big thing there. You can just click on it, and I'll make sure that we'll get you in. You'll find more about it on my website. We're going to be doing healings. We're going to be doing connecting with your higher self. We will be doing soul retrieval. We will be doing past life regression. Actually, a lot of stuff we were talking about today, you will experience. And again, I don't say it if I don't mean it. You will experience these things. So you will learn about a lot about yourself and probably find a lot of healing in that. So you can go there and check that out. And then, I forgot to tell everybody, Gray School of Witchcraft and Wizardry, grayschool.com. I have taken over several more courses. So please come on over, become a student. I hope I'm right when I say this, it's about $20 a month, if I'm not mistaken, to be a part of the school. But I've taken over some of the tarot courses. I'm now teaching the tarot path working courses. There's like about 4 of them. And as well, I am a part of the Department of Ceremonial Magic. If you are one of my students and you're watching this, someone wrote me, asked me when I was going to grade their paper. Please know I grade papers on Wednesday and Thursday and sometimes Saturday. So if you turned in your paper late Thursday, I won't get to it till Wednesday. I'm sorry. But yes, professor grades paper Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturdays. Sometimes Saturdays. Anyway, grayschool.com. Please go check it out. Oh, I got my Pinkadoos. I hope I'm saying that correctly. This is the symbol of the Gray School of Wizardry and Witchcraft. I love it. It's very shiny. Anyway, I love you guys. I'll see you next week. It'll be, again, Dr. Mark Pitstick. We're going to talk about soul phone and talking to our relatives who have passed on. I think it'll be an interesting talk. I love you. I hope I've answered some of your questions, and I'll see you on next week. Bye-bye.